What is up, guys? Media Master Menard here today, coming back at you with another video. And as you can tell by the title, today we're kind of going over E3 as a whole, as well as the individual press conferences, to kind of talk about my thoughts on what was announced, what happened, what was cool, what wasn't, what was kind of lame. And I was going to make a video on each press conference, but I was honestly so disappointed in the earlier press conferences that I didn't feel like it. But as the E3 kind of went on and more developers and companies had their press conference, I got a little more excited. So here I am with this video today, guys. Let's get right into it and talk about E3 2019. So EA kind of kicked it off, and oh my goodness, was their conference a snooze fest, guys. I mean, they had a couple indie games, they showed off some Battlefield 5 maps, and honestly I do think Battlefield 5 has great gunplay, as I've discussed on this channel before, but the game, they just killed it for me. And they've taken so long to finally now announce that they're going to the Pacific Theater and they're going to do all of these cool things in Greece. I mean, it took too long for them to release content for that game because it was free and they promised it and it didn't show up. But let's not get on a rant on that. And pretty much really the only other thing worth noting was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And while I do think this game looks really cool and has potential, it looks like it might be a little bit too on rails, and I don't mean that by the linear game and kind of the game design. I mean like the combat looks a little too on rails and too animation locky, so I actually really wasn't too excited about that, guys. And besides that, I really don't think EA put out anything else. They announced a new hero for Apex Legends, which I do think is a good game, but I think it's dying off fast because Respawn really is kind of focused on Jedi Fallen Order. So that's kind of my overall thoughts on the EA press conference. So Microsoft actually got a little better than EA, and I think that was kind of the theme of this E3, was that everything slowly started to pick up steam as it went on. It was kind of a down year for E3. The last couple years have been, and I think part of that is due to Sony pulling out and other factors, that it's just not that viable to spend all of that money to advertise at E3. People are going to more of the Nintendo Direct route, the State of Play route, to get their news out, but that's kind of a whole different story in and of itself. So obviously Xbox tried to come out swinging, and they kind of showed off their Xbox Scarlet. I'm not getting hype yet until they're actually on the market. I have a PC, I have a PS4, I have a Switch. I'm happy with what I have right now. They have to do something seriously crazy to wow me, and really we're not getting enough details at this point. We can't really see what they're doing. But one thing that was pretty disappointing was there was zero gameplay for Halo Infinite. I mean, we didn't get to see anything new or exciting. I was really hoping to see gameplay for that game. I'm stoked because I'm really trying to play Halo now that they've announced the Master Chief Collection is coming to PC, which they didn't talk about at all. I don't know why not, but that's a side note. But once Halo Infinite comes to PC, I'm excited to be able to play all these games that I was only able to play on friends' Xboxes as a kid. And then the Xbox conference started to get better. We see Cyberpunk 2077, and it got a release date of April 16th, 2020, so a little 10 months from now, so that's quite a substantial wait, but they've got some stuff to do, and that game really has me excited. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of CD Projekt Red's past work, The Witcher 3. I'm actually replaying it right now. I think it's such a good game. I mean, it's literally one of the best games ever made, guys. So I know I shouldn't expect that out of Cyberpunk because it is so hard and takes so much time to make a game of that quality, but I really do have high hopes for that game, and I thought the Keanu Reeves cameo was pretty neat. There was the Gears 5 trailer, and honestly, guys, I feel like Gears is one of those franchises that everyone likes to point to, like, hey, Xbox has Gears of War, but really no one cares about Gears of War anymore. That's just kind of the vibe I got. I mean, everyone's hyped now, but where are the sales? I mean, I don't know. Games Pass also got announced that the Xbox version of it is coming to PC, and I think that is really, really good because I was looking at the PC offerings for Game Pass and it was really, really measly, so it's good that they're finally kind of getting that going. They had Elden Ring, which is like a Dark Souls game that's collaborating with George R. R. Martin, and I don't really know what George R. R. Martin is doing, so that's kind of interesting. We didn't get to see too much, it was more of just a reveal trailer, but I think that has potential for all the Soulsborne players out there. They announced some controller, and no one really cares about that. Dragon Ball Z Project Kakarot, that will be kind of interesting to see what that game truly is, or how it plays, how it is when you're playing yourself. I'm not really too sure. It's always hard to tell with Dragon Ball Z games what the final quality of the game is going to be. And I'm kind of scrolling through it now here. The rest of the stuff was kind of just minor stuff. I guess I am excited for the Phantasy Star Online 2 that's coming west, because that's also going to be on PC. It's going to be free to play. Back in the day on the GameCube, I remember playing the original Phantasy Star Online, and I really liked it. So I'm curious to see if that was just nostalgia in my head, or if this is going to be a lot better. Then we had Bethesda, guys, and honestly, they just can't stay out of their own way recently, and I'm really starting to lose faith in them as a developer. It's really sad, guys. So they did announce Doom Eternal, which is great stuff, because I do think Doom is one of the games that they make good, along with Wolfenstein. I think those two franchises they have down right now, and they're doing the right thing. And they announced that the Dishonored developer is creating a new game, Deathloop, and I think that has potential because I also know Dishonored is kind of a cult classic, but it's also a very solid game. But then it's just like, okay, Fallout 76 Battle Royale, like, come on, guys. Come on, just kill that game off or completely shut it down and reboot it, because we all know you messed up so bad, and it just doesn't seem like they can understand that. And then like the rest of the stuff was like mobile games, or like Elder Scrolls Blades is coming to the Switch. Like, we don't care. We don't want that. That's not what we want, guys. And then they're announcing other mobile games, and I don't know. Bethesda was a huge disappointment. I'm not even excited for Starfield anymore because it's still on the Creation Engine. I feel like they're just going to mess that up. And honestly, I'll be excited for Elder Scrolls 6 because honestly that's going to be very telling of Bethesda's future. Ubisoft was where I thought E3 started to get a little bit better. Watch Dogs Legion looks pretty cool. I thought the second Watch Dogs looked like a pretty fun game when I watched streamers play it. I didn't play it myself, but from anecdotal evidence from a lot of other people, they've said that the game was a lot better than the first one, and people are really hating on it or putting it down, doubting it that it was a good game. They announced some more content for Rainbow Six Siege and how they kind of plan for that to make the jump to the next generation instead of resetting it with the Rainbow Six Siege 2. And I think it's good to see them kind of support that game the way they are, and they're not really milking it too hard. There is some predatory microtransactions with the operators, but I do think it's good that they're supporting it and they've kept on going and they didn't give up on the game right away and they did things to make it better. That's always good to see a game do that. And then they had the Assassin's Creed Odyssey creators announce Gods and Monsters, and honestly, it didn't really, I don't know what it was. I don't know what that was, so I can't comment on that too much. They released a roadmap for The Division 2. I'm not a fan of looter shooters, so let's not even talk about it. They've got a Breakpoint Ghost Recon beta coming in December. I think I will be checking that game out because I've always thought Ghost Recon was a really cool game when I was a kid growing up, and since they've rebooted it, I kind of wanted to see what it's all about myself. And here's another theme that was kind of going on throughout all of E3 that is a little worrisome for gamers in general. Ubisoft announced a new subscription. It's basically like their version of EA Origins Access. I don't know, the Netflix subscription of video games. Everywhere has their own subscription service now, and it's getting a little out of control, guys. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it because it's turning into just nickel and dime you here and there and try to make it seem like you're getting huge value, but you're not really. So it will be interesting to see how that landscape just shakes out in the future, guys. But yeah, that's kind of was it for Ubisoft. They didn't have anything too crazy, but coming up next is where things really got hype, and that was Square Enix, guys. And honestly, you guys know on this channel I am a huge Final Fantasy fan, and they really blew it out of the park. They hit a home run on this one, guys, because I've been really reserved about the Final Fantasy VII Remake because I love the original so much, and I was like, it needs to be turn-based. I was like super traditionalist and don't change anything. And then all of a sudden, guys, they just dropped a ton of footage, a ton of information on this game, and it was incredible. We got to see our trailer with Tifa in it, and it was so sick to see her fighting. We get to see kind of just more of the gameplay systems. They had like a 4-minute video of them explaining the combat system, and I think it put a lot of people's doubts to rest. It looks kind of like a mix between Final Fantasy 13 and 15. I think that's a really good mix, and they have a lot of good things they can do there. They also revealed that Marvel's Avengers is going to be released next year in May, so about a full year's wait, 11 months. And we still really don't know too much about that game, but I know a lot of people have high hopes for it because they put so much work into it. Another Final Fantasy announcement was that Final Fantasy VIII is getting a remastered version, and honestly those models look so good because in Final Fantasy VIII, when you play it, it is really hard to see facial expressions or characters' faces. There's a lot of pixelation, and it looks like they are really fixing a lot of that, guys. Final Fantasy VIII, I really do love that game, even though it doesn't get some of the respect I think it deserves. It is a little bit different, but I think that's what makes it great. They showed off some stuff for Final Fantasy XIV, and I play that game on and off, but still I've never really got into I guess the DLCs. They announced Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is kind of a Minecraft spin-off, but a lot of people say it's even better than Minecraft, and I think that's quite interesting. They had the Crystal Chronicles remastered, and I've loved that spin-off series for a while for Final Fantasy. They showed off the Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for the Switch, which obviously is something that's really cool, and that kind of leads into the last and final conference of E3, and that is Nintendo. But before we get on to Nintendo, I just want to reiterate, I mean, the Final Fantasy VII Remake was incredible what they showed off. I mean, I was just so excited, and like I was so reserved, like this can't be good, and after watching it, I don't think it's the hype that got to me, just what they showed off was so good that it got to me. So I just want to reiterate that was super cool. But on to Nintendo, and so obviously Nintendo kind of had their direct news and kind of did their direct thing as they always do for E3 now, and what they do every couple months. And so the big announcement was that Zelda Breath of the Wild is getting a sequel, and it's in development right now. My guess is that's probably 2 or 3 years off still, so I'm not going to get hyped for that. Sadly, Animal Crossing New Horizons was delayed until 2020. Actually, that's not too sad for me. I don't care about Animal Crossing at all, but I guess it has a huge following, so a lot of people were very sad about that. But they did put out a good piece, or talked about they don't want to put their developers in crunch, and they want people to have a good work-life balance, and they also want to assure the quality of their games. So I think that's kind of a good message, and Nintendo really has my respect because they are not afraid to delay a game to ensure that it's great. And then there were some really cool announcements related to Super Smash Bros., and that's that the Dragon Quest heroes, kind of the main characters from all the different games, are going to be a DLC coming up this summer, and also that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in the game. He's also going to be a DLC character. I don't think a lot of us were expecting that they were going to announce 2 characters at once at this Direct at E3, but they did, and I'm really excited about the Dragon Quest hero going into Smash Brothers. I mean, I'm going to main him for a while. I was super excited about Joker. Joker's a little more of a skill-based character that's a lot of finesse, but I don't think the hero is going to be as much. So I'm thinking about maining him when he comes out. They also announced that Link's Awakening release date. It's September 20th. I think that looks pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm going to buy that game because it's such a crowded time. There's going to be Pokemon coming out in the near future, and looking forward to even just this month and the next, I'm planning on buying Mario Maker, I'm planning on buying Crash Team Racing, I'm planning on buying Fire Emblem, so I mean there's a lot of stuff in that time period. I don't know if Link's Awakening is going to make the cut for me. Obviously, we mentioned earlier the Dragon Quest XI Switch version is coming out. Luigi's Mansion was a huge talking point of this conference, and it was revealed, and it had its release date revealed also. And I think that's kind of there for the people who like Luigi's Mansion. Once again, that's not my cup of tea, but I think Nintendo is putting out so much good stuff right now that it doesn't really matter. One thing that's super cool is that The Witcher 3 Complete Edition is coming to the Switch. Obviously, I've played it on PS4, I'm playing it on PC now, so I don't plan on buying that, but I think that's great for people who want to play The Witcher 3 on the go. It's one of the best games ever made. I'm curious how they're going to fit that on a card, or how they're going to fit that on the Nintendo Switch. That's kind of a crazy feat. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. No More Heroes 3 was announced. We really didn't get anything more than that it was announced, so yeah. There's that. We also got Cadence of Hyrule is going to be released. It got shadow dropped, so it's coming out this Friday, so a lot of people are excited for that little indie game. But there was also a couple other big trailers like Astral Chain. We got to see a lot of gameplay and story elements, and I think that game looks really, really cool, and I think that's good that they showed this off, because Platinum Games didn't show off Bayonetta 3 for the second year in a row, which makes me kind of sad, which makes me think that's a 2021 game, possibly. We'll see how things go. But by far my thing that I got most excited about was the Fire Emblem Three Houses trailer, guys. I mean, it was so sick to see that they're actually kind of maybe doing a time skip type of thing. We get to see a lot of the characters looking older, and we get to see they're coming back after, like, hey, we used to be students here, like, now this isn't how I planned our reunion. And I was like, whoa, this game, I'm telling you guys, Fire Emblem Three Houses is about to be incredible. That is like the game I'm looking most forward to. The trailer looked incredible. We didn't see any more gameplay, but we've seen what we saw before, and we all know what to expect gameplay wise from a Fire Emblem. I'm just so stoked. I think July 26th, I mean, it is going to be insane, guys. But I think that about covers everything major and all the major conferences that happened at E3 this year. I'm sorry I didn't bring you guys a video for every conference or every day like I did last year. I was busy with work, so I decided I'll just push it all together into one big video and kind of give you my overall thoughts on E3. I think E3 is definitely in trouble, guys. I mean, the beginning of E3 was very, very lackluster and very just disappointing in general, but the last 2 days, Nintendo and Square Enix really saved it, in my opinion. But I want to know what you guys thought about this year's E3. Was it good? Was it bad? What announcements did you like? What game are you most looking forward to? Let me know the answer to all those questions down in the comments below. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Maybe bringing you guys more movies, TV, video game, and anime content. I'm going to leave a link to my Twitter so you can find out when I post a new video. And until then, this is Master Menard, signing off.
Now look at the top, I'm going crazy, who wearing the crown? Scoodly bop, doodly bop.